And again, hundreds of thousands turned up, and as I said, you only had tens of thousands turn up for you.
So one can say 3 million, one can say 4 million, but reality, if you go through all newspapers published, they were published after on 24th of December.
Okay, we're not going to fight. We're not going to agree on the figures.
None of them has disagreed. They said the biggest. They said the biggest gathering in the history of Pakistan.
Okay, can I just say
the biggest gathering.
Why
and if we have not populist base in the country, then where the people have come from?
Well, the figure is disputed, Dr. ul-Qadri. But what Rahman
there can be a dispute on the figure.
We don't want to get bogged down in the figures. Okay. What about the fact that you are not seen as somebody with proper democratic credentials? You say you don't want to comment on statements that people make, but Rahman Shishti makes a point which is made by several of your critics. And did you yourself not say in December, in English, in Islamabad, there are only two institutions in Pakistan that are functioning and doing their duties. One is the judiciary and one is the armed forces. And that's made people worried that in some way you're kind of trying to invite the military to come back into Pakistani politics.
There's wrong impression. I would repeat it again that Rahman Chishti says anything. He is not an authority on the politics and analysis of Pakistan.
It's not just him.
This may be his own opinion, and he has a right. He has the right to say. I don't differ. He has a right to say whatever he wants.
Well,
but the question,
address
the fact remains there.
The substance of the criticism is that
the substance
of the criticism
is that
you're
when
not a Democrat.
I never invited the military or judiciary to get involved in the politics or to get involved in the next coming government. My only concern was that these two institutions should ensure for the stability of Pakistan and stability of democracy that the people who are coming to take over the next caretaker government, they are not partisan people. They should be totally honest and impartial so that they ensure the transparency, fairness, honestness of the elections according to the Constitution of Pakistan, Article 213, Clause 3. Constitution says the election should be absolutely free and fair and just and honor and free of all corrupt practices and absolutely according to the law in letter and spirit. This has never happened. What I am saying, the same words have been declared by the Supreme Court of Pakistan in its judgment on 8th June 2012. Sure. Supreme Court has written in its judgment that unfortunately this kind of standard of the free, fair and honest election has never taken place in Pakistan.
Can I just carry on the military,
I am quoting the judgment of Supreme Court.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm sure everybody would say that they would want free and fair elections in Pakistan. But just to carry on the military, Chatham House, the highly respected think tank. Can I just ask you this? Okay, can I just put to you what they say? That reports and informed speculation, they said in mid-January, that the most widespread theory behind your return to Pakistan is that it was prompted by the military. They are turning to you, Chatham House say, these are what the reports say, to destabilise the political scene and potentially create a situation in which the elections are delayed. So what do you say when people say, Tahir al-Qadri, you're being used as a tool by the military?
Yes, I totally reject. This is a false accusation. Same about the military, the same kind of accusation was launched that British establishment is behind me. So British Ambassador High Commission rebutted that nobody from us is behind Dr. Qadri. The same false allegation was launched that American establishment is behind Dr. Qadri. So American ambassador rebutted that this is totally wrong. And military establishment, their General Asim gave a categorical statement, we are not behind Dr. Qadri. The question is, they have been launching these kind of false accusation on this side or this side, that side. But they have never been able to establish any fact. The only fact is that the people are behind. People are crying for the last 4 or 5 years. People are not getting food. People are not getting treatment. They are not getting justice. They are not getting rule of law. They are not getting protection of their lives, protection of their wealth, protection of their business. There is total brain drain, total capital flight. The people are not protecting their lives. The terrorism is increasing. Okay, these are the reasons the people are with us. People are behind us because they want
you keep on saying, as I said, the people are behind
democratic system.
Yeah. Okay, but you keep on saying the people are behind you. But so far, we have to deal with the fact that the two main parties, Nawaz Sharif, main opposition leader, and the PPP, the Pakistan People's Party, have the most seats in the National Assembly. You made a deal. You said you were going to have a 1 million-man march and that you were going to sit for however long it was near Parliament and so on. But after 4 days, you came to some kind of deal. You made a declaration with the government, and people are scratching their heads and saying, what exactly did you achieve? Because we all knew that elections have to be held in Pakistan by June, and traditionally, according to the Constitution, if elections are called, then you have to have an interim administration. So what have you achieved?
This is again a relevant question. The achievement was that at that moment when I gave the ultimatum for 1.5 an hour, there were two options. Either the martial law would have come, which I have never preferred. I am absolutely against martial law. I am absolutely against the military intervention. I am pro-democracy. I am pro-human rights. I am pro-political process. I am totally against any kind of authoritarianism, whether it is monarchical rule or it is military rule. I hate it. So the one way was that if we have taken any action, then the military would have taken over the country. And this we were not we were not there for this purpose. The other option was the peaceful settlement of the dispute. And peaceful settlement and democratic settlement is only possible through negotiations. So we entered into negotiation. That is the only democratic, constitutional, lawful way to settle the disputes. And we finally resolved a declaration. And through declaration, our achievement.
Yeah, what did you achieve? Because it doesn't seem like you've actually achieved very much. The elections had to be held, as I said, and you have to have an interim administration anyway.
We received the maximum which was achievable within the limits of being peaceful, within the limits of a democratic settlement. Whatever was possible, we achieved. For example, the election constitution said Article 62 and 63 mentions the eligibility of the candidates and ineligibility of the candidates. For the last 35 years, these only two articles which determined the eligibility and ineligibility of the candidate were never enforced in the history of Pakistan. So through that declaration, it was agreed upon that in coming elections, all candidates would be scrutinized. They will get pre-clearance for 30 days. And they will be judged and scrutinized in the light of the Article 62 and 63.
What else?
And after that, they would be allowed to enter in the campaign.
Okay, what else did you achieve? Because didn't you call for the army to be consulted on the interim administration?